Hold on, let's start the podcast because then I can clip things out. All right. Welcome to Libby's Lounge Author Hangout Edition, where the books are great, but the authors are even better. And I'm here with Derek Borne,
Hello.
master author of multiple genres.
I wouldn't say master. That's in like the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. Well, in my eye of the beholder. From what I've read of me very slowly working my way through the books. And very slowly, I'm still in the first book of each series, but it's still masterful.
It's okay. That's all right.
So, yeah, how are you?
Today was a busy day. Busy day at work. Dad had a laparoscopy today. You probably saw my message on Facebook.
Well, I saw you. Yeah, I saw your message.
Yeah,
I did.
So they didn't take the appendix out, so that's just more. They took a lot of pictures though, so all the doctors, the whole team gets to see it and kind of go from there. But they are saying definitely chemo will be the treatment. So, yeah.
It's a long road, a little bit.
It is. Yeah. Still a little bit of waiting before treatment can actually happen.
Fingers crossed it goes decently easy. It's not going to be easy, but
yeah.
I'm hoping it won't be too strenuous.
Yeah. I learned something interesting about chemo, though, was that it basically turns all your fluids toxic, and they have a puppy. So someone was telling me, don't let their puppy lick him. And I went, really? And they go, yeah, because your sweat will actually become toxic too. And I went, I never thought about that.
Okay. So I saw, I think it was, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram. Was I talking to you? I don't know. I got this information from somewhere. And they said that the septic tank, that if you have a septic tank, you need to have it cleaned more often because the waste is toxic and it eats through the septic tank, and then you have to get the whole thing replaced.
I wouldn't have thought of that either.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
It must have
Makes
been
sense,
like a video. I didn't know it was that toxic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is crazy that our bodies can like process that and heal from it, but like it'll eat through metal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, crazy to think about actually. And yet porcelain's fine.
Sometimes I just don't understand science at all.
Yeah.
Like it does not make any sense. Yeah, that is
maybe
weird.
by the end of it, they got to change their toilet. Who knows?
Maybe porcelain is fine.
I have to look into that.
Now I'm very curious.
Hey, you know what? If we research it, we can say it's for writing our books. So,
listen, I'm already on a lot of lists. I'm pretty sure,
and I'm pretty sure multiple FBI agents on you.
I definitely have at least one. Some of the things that I research, I'm like I open the camera on my thing. I'm like, FBI agent, it is just for research. Please clear the search history afterwards. There'll be cookies involved.
Cookies, yeah. Not the electronic kind.
No, I'll bake you cookies. Can't promise they're good. I'm not a good baker, but it's a thought that counts.
I actually like baking, personally.
So many people, I do not like baking.
See, for me, I think it's because I have construction background, so everything had to be precise. And I like the precision of baking, where it always says, like, you need half a cup. Okay, done.
Yeah, no. And then you have to sift it, and if it's different if you sift it versus if you don't sift it, and then like if your butter is warm versus hot versus melty versus like all the textures are. I've watched a video with my daughter about it. I'm like, the science behind cookies is insane.
Right. Cookies are my kryptonite, though.
I'll eat a ton of cookies. I just won't bake them.
Yeah.
Cookies, like I don't eat sweets, but I'll eat cookies all day long.
You put any kind of sweet in front of me, especially cinnamon buns, and like, I'll do whatever you want.
Gone. Cinnamon buns, especially when you can unroll them, just like get to this.
Well, the best part, you unroll it, you take out the middle that's just covered in the cinnamon stuff, and that is like the perfect part of the snack.
That is what the whole cinnamon roll is about. It's getting to the center.
Exactly.
So good.
I actually made some one time, and so because of where I work with the olive oil, we have an orange olive oil. So I actually
Ooh.
mixed that in with the cinnamon mixture, and it was the best cinnamon buns I had ever had. Not to brag or
Ex-
anything, but it was just the combination of the flavors was like they did not last long in our house at all.
Yeah, nothing. Cinnamon
It was
buns do not last
dangerous.
like long in this house. Like
Yeah,
30 seconds.
right.
It's not safe here for
Well, the
them.
thing about my wife and I too is we'll go out for something and come home and be like, "Oh, we just came home. Let's have a cookie or a cinnamon bun." Like we find excuses to have the snacks.
Like I took a breath today. I should have a cinnamon
Exactly.
roll.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Of
I
course.
uh I moved from positions at work, so I used to be in the ELA sub, and I moved to the secretary position. And I did not realize in the secretary position that you get all the snacks from all the kids and the PTO.
Oh,
So like yesterday was
score.
the last day. It was the last day before winter break, and like I had this delicious croissant cinnamon roll
Mm,
that
what?
was it was a croissant. I'll send a picture. Uh, yeah, hold on. Let me send you a
I
picture.
have never heard those two words uttered in the same sentence.
Listen,
Croissant
Japan is
cinnamon bun.
on another level.
I
Like
believe it.
you
See, I've
you should
had
just
croissant French toast.
how is that? I feel like it would be very soggy.
It's actually really good. I had that
Is
in
it?
Vancouver. Yeah.
Here. I'm
Plus, it was a
sending it to you.
place. The place was called Futo Croissant, like fresh out of the oven croissant. So it's
Oh,
just croissants fresh all day, every day. Sandwiches, whatever.
yeah. That's I sent you a picture, but that's what I ate for breakfast. It was so good.
Like
And
today.
no, like yesterday because it's Saturday.
Okay.
So yesterday, yeah.
Ooh,
Uh,
look at that.
and then the kids just kept bringing us cookies. Like every like half hour, they'd walk in with a plate of cookies. They're like, "We made you cookies. Would you like some?" I'm like, yes, yes, I want cookies.
Of course.
So good.
I would never say no. That looks really good.
It
What's
was
that?
really
What's that
good.
drizzled on top of the icing?
Um, I think it was like walnuts and pistachios or
Oh,
something. Yeah, it was walnuts and pistachios.
man. Han, we need to go to Japan. Like right now.
Japan snacks are on another level. But
Oh,
and you don't
man.
even feel like a sugar hangover from it. You never feel a sugar
I
hangover
believe
from
it.
their
I know my mom
snacks.
would devour that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
She
just
loves her
just hop a
pistachios
flight.
too.
Just
Yeah.
just hop a flight. It'll fine.
Yeah. Like anything pistachios. Italy, there's tons of pistachios and a lot of stuff. And if my mom saw that, she'd be like, it's done.
Let's go. Like I
Yeah.
don't need to do anything else. I can just go
Yeah.
and eat pistachios all day.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. So what have you been working on?
Oh, lately I have been getting Primeval Ranch ready for its release in April. Super excited. I was going to do a cover reveal January 1st, and then I had a marketer tell me you might want to do it on like the 3rd or 4th because usually January 1st is like full of a lot of other stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So probably going to move it to the 3rd or 4th. Um, Other than that, I'm working on Sorecore Origins, which is the prequel to Dino Rift, which is going to be fun going back to kind of before like we see certain things happen to the evil characters in Dino Rift, where they get to be evil again.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's yeah, just like certain name drops, and we get to see characters again that some people just absolutely hate. Um, yeah, that one's exciting. I'm working on a dystopian that also has a saber-toothed tiger. Uh,
Those are my favorite.
are they? There's a
Yeah,
saber-toothed
ever
tiger in
since
Primeval Ranch as well.
oh, see, listen, ever since the Yellow Ranger was the saber-toothed tiger in Power
Right,
Rangers,
right.
always my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
So
exciting.
the dystopian also has like a 7th century English woman that gets time displaced to this dystopian future that's run by evil androids. And then she comes across the saber-toothed tiger and actually befriends it. And she also finds kind of like the last faction of humanity that's trying to take the Earth back from the androids.
That
And then,
okay, how much research do you do into these books?
I actually, so I have an alpha reader that I sent the beginning of this new dystopian called Orva. That's the name of the main character. Uh, And so she read the first few chapters and she came back at me and she actually said, so what Orva, as the Old English, would have actually had attacking them wasn't this, which is what I had written. She goes, it more so would have been Vikings. And I went, okay, so my history was wrong. Just simple rewrite. But I'm
Okay.
so happy to have like really good alpha readers for stuff like that, especially one that does know their history. I do try to do my research as best as possible. Sometimes you don't always find the right thing on Google. But
What? You mean that AI doesn't answer the question correctly? It's not what it feels like spitting out.
yeah, it's still working on it, I guess, something like that. But yeah, so rewrote it, and now it's way better. I found from how things kind of go. Basically, the story starts with her village is attacked by the Vikings, and then as that happens, time rifts pop open, and we actually see a T-Rex appear, which for me was like, this could be why some people are like, dragons,
That makes sense.
right? Right? Just in my own world, in the way
That's
I
brilliant.
see it in my head. And then another time rift opens up, and she is sucked into this dystopian future with a couple of Vikings. And then as she's about to be like, am I going to die here? The saber-toothed tiger shows up and actually takes out the Vikings.
I'm
And then
excited.
she sees that it has an arrow in its thigh, so she pulls out the arrow and kind of starts the friendship between her and the saber-toothed tiger. Because it's like, oh, this was painful, but you just helped me.
I like
Right?
it. I'm excited.
So, yeah.
I have to
And
steal
then,
my books back from my son because he's slowly working through them, and I'm like, "You're taking too long."
which one is he on?
Uh, I think he was bouncing between the first of each series because he's not a big
Oh,
reader,
okay.
but he's like trying to find his footing. So, but I'm like, "You need to give them all to me because."
So tell him that if he wants to make it easier, like Ultimate Agent is technically the start of my entire universe.
Okay.
So read all the superhero stuff first, then jump into Dino Rift because the references in Dino Rift are going to make more sense if he's
Okay.
already read the superhero stuff. Not that
That's
you have
helpful.
to read the superhero stuff before, but if you want to be like the start to finish reader, then yeah.
I'll tell him to do that then. Well, no, I'll steal that book first so I can finish it and then I'll pass it off.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're working on. It's
But
just
yeah, I
getting it
still got a
ready
couple
and
other things that I've started and they're just kind of on the back burners. Like my superhero series, I introduced my own version of Bigfoot, and I have another book where I want to have like a young adult Bigfoot and trying to enter society.
I love your ideas. They're so much fun. Like it's never what
It's
I
just
expect.
well, and I think I always like those kind of ideas where it kind of just puts humanity under a certain lens,
hmm
and it's like as he's trying to understand how we work, a lot of people are also trying to understand what is a Bigfoot? Like, what are you? What can you do? And then, of
Yeah.
course, there's going to be people that find out about him and are going, oh, yeah, you're one of the few Bigfoots. You probably go for a lot of money,
Freaking humans.
right? But see, my Bigfoots, they have superpowers. So there's a
I
twist.
like that's all the twists. Give them to me. I like that. What's your
To a
biggest
degree,
goal
it's kind
coming
of
up?
like Spider Man.
Is it? Oh, okay.
In a way, only Bigfoot is able to control the length of his fur and like stretch it out. Kind of like. So he could technically swing between
My head went a complete
just the fur, just the
just
hair.
the fur. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Like I have it so when my Ultimate Agent character first meets Bigfoot, Bigfoot essentially wraps him up in this big ball of hair, which was one of the funniest things I think I've written because after he comes out of the big ball of hair, he falls to the ground and Devin's just like, uh, 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 I think there's some still in my
Yeah.
mouth.
That would be accurate. Ugh,
Yep.
that's so funny. Uh, so what are your goals? You got some goals coming up?
So I just surpassed my sales from last year, my sales numbers, which I'm like,
Congratulations.
yay, considering I haven't published anything since November 2022.
That is
That makes me happy
phenomenal. You've been putting in a
on
lot of
what
hard work though.
I've tried. Honestly, 2023 was like creative burnout for me.
hmm
Um, But yeah, did that. Still, as far as I know, 86 sales away from 1,000 for Dino Rift. So I'm like really,
Okay.
really pushing for that
That's
on Amazon.
so close.
Um, yeah, and other than that, I'm just gonna put out Primeval Ranch, work on Sorcore Origins, hopefully get that ready for the next year. And like, I'm happy if I do one book a year. I really am.
Yeah.
It's so
I'm
much
at the same
easier. Plus,
pace.
I work retail, so
Yeah. It's it's so much nicer to just have an easy pace. I don't want to ever rapid release.
yeah. I
I
actually
also
had
can't.
someone who is an agent, not my agent because I don't have one, but he said I actually recommend that you do 1 to 2 books a year.
Yeah. Any more than that, then you have a bunch of people waiting, and then unless you have so many, and I can't wait like that. Like, I don't want to write a book and then hold on to it forever. Like, no, I wrote it. I want you
Yeah,
guys to have it.
yeah. I mean, I do appreciate the authors that can do the rapid release. I mean, it is a smart strategy if
It
you can do one
is.
like maybe every
I
few months or something like that.
I cannot.
Yeah, I don't think my brain could keep up with that. It'd be a lot.
No. I will though, I do have to say, I will on my next series probably wait until I've started book 2 before I release book 1.
Okay, yeah,
Like be a
yeah.
good chunk into book 2 before I like set out book 1, so I'm always like a book ahead because I did not do that this time, and sometimes I feel like I'm racing myself.
I don't know how I did it, but so for the Ultimate Agent series, the Helios Files
Mhm.
is essentially 6 novellas in one. And
Oh,
how I released them, I don't know how I did this. In a year and a half, I released all 6.
dang.
And that was like start, finish, edit, pop out. As I was getting everything ready to release, I started the next one and just, I don't, it was shortly before COVID hit.
Mm.
And then I honestly don't know how my brain did that. Like I just found some kind of fire and did not let go, and it was I actually found by the end of it I was done for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I combined them all into the Helios files and then put it out as one main book.
one
But
book.
it helped me get my
Yeah.
reviews up on Amazon. So,
Oh, that's smart. I'm doing I'm doing short stories, well, short scenes on my Patreon. And
oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
helping with some creative burnout because this book that I'm working on is not, it's a prequel and it's hard. Like I'm a thriller author, so like book 1 was kind of
Right.
long cuz it set up the world. Uh but like book 2 and book 3 all happen in like a week. Like they're very short time frames. Actually, I think
Okay.
book 2 happens
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like 4 days, 5 days. It is not pretty. And this prequel, it covers like 20 years. I'm like,
Oh
this
wow.
is killing me.
How
And
do you
it's like,
condense that?
that's a really
Do
good
I ask?
question. When I figure that out, I'll let you know.
Right.
I can tell you that when it becomes a TV show, 90% of this
Mm.
book will be a montage of
Hmm.
training and like
I
clips.
remember you saying that in something. Yeah.
It would be a montage, but I can't montage a book, so uh, it's been
I
a
mean, you could
challenge.
try. You could
I
try.
mean, I could try.
There's like all these
Mont
scene breaks.
like clip 1, clip 2, clip 3, clip 4.
Yeah.
Picture this. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
Picture this, and then just write the scenes.
And then go
Actually,
back to this. And then back to present day.
yeah, that would actually be pretty
That
dope
would
if
be
I did
fun.
that. I don't
Yeah.
know if it will hit the flow. I don't know if it'll
And
fly with
then
the
that's
readers.
how you market the book. You'd be like, this is the first book ever to have a montage.
Yes, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll, because it really would just be a like a 2-minute montage, and then I would be done. And it's gonna take me 50,000 words to write that. That's
You can do it.
killer.
I think you
That's
can do it.
killer. Thanks. Um,
You
but
got
yeah,
this.
and the main character, she's not a badass like she is. It's the villain arc. We're taking my villain and we're going back to how she got became. So she's very boring, and I don't like her. I mean, that's the point.
Right, right.
But so I'm having a
I
hard time
love a
with that.
good villain story.
Uh, Dietrich, I was talking to Dietrich about it, and he said that He's like, you kind of set yourself up in a way that everyone hates this character so much that going into this book, like, she's this sweet, innocent girl, but you already know what she's going to do to everybody by the end,
Right.
that it's hard to forget that she's like this mass murderer and this terrible person. But she's so sweet in the beginning. She doesn't even like to get blood on her. She's so cute.
That's how you get people to care.
Yeah.
Show them this
Yeah.
is the journey they took. This is what happened to make them messed up and
Yeah.
relatable.
Prequels are hard.
They are. They are.
That's all I'm working on. But yeah, I get burnt out on that. So the Patreon, I'm doing short stories to keep the creative flow because then I can play with the characters I love to play with.
I'm gonna have to pick your brain on Patreon because I feel like I may have to take that next step. And me and change, we're not good bedfellows for the most part. So I feel like it's something that's
Plus, we're
just
talking
kind of
about like a one
stressing
bed
me
trope
out.
here. Yeah. We're going to
Well,
one
not
bed
quite.
trope you in a Patreon. Just
Right. Yeah.
put you
The
together.
unlikely. Derek and Patreon.
That could be the name of your Patreon.
Hey, there you go.
You know, reach a broader audience. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just funny
no,
because I
it's.
did my own twist on the one bed trope in Primeval Ranch, but not the way
Did
people
you?
think. It is still appropriate for children, but
I'm interested.
yeah,
You've got me hooked. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like it
Patreon's
kind of
not so
sets people
bad.
up to expect it, but it doesn't
Really?
happen.
Let down.
Yeah.
But Patreon's not too bad. The biggest thing is um, what I've learned, and Dietrich kind of talked me through it too, is you have to talk to the void for like 6 to 7 months or talk to just a few people who are showing up because in 6 or 7 months you'll have so much backlog that when people do come to it, they're like, oh, look at what all the stuff we're getting. So
Okay.
you just have to push through and basically build it until it has enough that seems worth value to people who don't know you as well. Like I have like 4 or 5 people on my Patreon right now, which is covering enough to cover my VA who's helping me run it. So
Okay.
it's kind of helping me just pay for itself right now. Because I needed somebody to like schedule things for me, which it's not that hard, but I didn't want to do it.
See, for me, I
I
always
just,
feel like, do I have enough content to post?
yes. Okay. So you do. You do. Um, my content is, okay. So my content is a short story or deleted scene or a scene every month. So it's just one. So I'm doing an Is and Mason story, which I just kind of write a scene. And then when I'm not working on that, I find a deleted scene from my drafts that didn't make it into the original books. And I just post it with a little bit of context, but I don't edit it. I'm like, this is unedited, but this is what was supposed to happen. Here's the scene that was really fun to write, but I couldn't use it. And then um, I just wrote a brand new scene, like a short scene snippet for the last one. Um, so every month, just some type of writing between like 1,000 to 5,000 words. And then I do a blog. I do an indie author giveaway. I do.
See, I don't really have much of deleted scenes. I find for me,
Why?
so the only
Because.
time I've really had deleted scenes was when I first wrote The Ultimate Agent 3, the finale. And I had a
Mm-hmm,
bunch of, I had planned to do back when I first wrote it, when I was like 16, 17, flashbacks. And then
mm-hmm.
when I got older and rewrote the whole series, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to have these flashbacks here. It feels like there's too many and it just kind of messes with the whole flow. So I took them all
Mm-hmm.
out. But now I'm working on a semi classified project
Mm-hmm.
where I may or may not put out a version of the first Ultimate Agent with a whole new intro
Nice.
and
And
have it like a special edition.
Your Patreon can be early access to those flashback scenes. I
That's true.
am releasing my original version of the Assassin's Legacy, which was terrible. It was terrible. It was first person. No, it was one POV. Oh, it was so bad.
In your
Um,
eyes, to
oh no,
everyone
no,
else,
no,
be like, this is epic. You never know.
no, no. Go read it. It's terrible.
Go for
uh,
it.
the, the tropes were terrible. Um, There was no dimension. I was young when I wrote it. So I'm releasing that chapter by chapter. And I actually am finding it very therapeutic because it's showing me how far I've come. And
Mm-hmm.
it's inspirational for other authors. Be like, okay, look, you'll get better. Don't quit. Like, don't quit. Just keep editing. Um, but I also do a video. So I release the chapter and then I do a video talking about that chapter and like the decisions I've made, what was changed. Because it's under the assumption if you're subscribing to my Patreon, you've read my books
Okay.
or you're going to read them.
Oh, so you did it in a way like when you watch the version of a movie that the directors are talking about it as the movie goes
Yeah.
on. That's a
Yeah.
cool
So
idea.
like I have it and I'll pull it up. Like it's posted and then a week later I pull it up and I skim through it. I'm like, here, I'm like, they were twins in the original version. Like
Mm.
I was in my Draco Malfoy era. Everyone had blonde hair and gray eyes.
Right.
Like
Right.
so it's like behind the scenes. And you
Okay.
can do that with the
That's an
books too.
interesting
You can
idea.
just go chapter by chapter talking about why you made the decisions you made and what changes you made from yeah. Dude,
That's
you could
fun. I
totally
was
do
just
that.
telling someone the other day that when I first gave the Ultimate Agent to an official editor, because I had never had an editor before, and there's a part in UA where the one character says, I don't like to beat around the bush. And my editor came back at me. She goes, it's a bit cliche. Is there a way that you could like change this up or something? So I changed it to, I'm not the kind of person that smacks around the shrubbery. And she kept it. She's like, it was very imaginative how you still kept the sense of it. And I just wrote for the character to say, the actual person they say it to goes, wait, what did you just say? And they're like, it's something my grandpa used to say.
Yeah. And like those little snippets are so much fun. And like I had characters I cut out, like I just deleted them and I talk about those in the Patreon. So it's a place for you to just talk about your stuff and connect with readers. But you got to give it months and then you'll have enough.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'll maybe take the dive. We'll see. 2025, new things. Cool. You gonna hold me to that?
You bet.
You're gonna
What
check
kind,
in with me
what
every
kind
day.
of
Have you done it yet? Have you started Patreon yet? Have you done it?
what kind of friend would I be if I didn't? uh so that's a good goal though. Keep writing, do a Patreon. What's your numbers goal? Is it just to beat what you did last year?
I mean, if it happens, I'm happy with that. Even if it's like a few copies more than it was, like at least I did better than the year before. Um, yeah, Primeval Ranch. I'm really excited to see what people think of this one because I think it's very different than what I've done before, but also kind of similar because it kind of has a bit of that superhero novel vibe in a way, though there's no powers or abilities or anything. It's more so like because it's superhero spies, what I originally wrote. And it
Yeah.
kind of has that aspect to a degree where there is like a dinosaur cartel. And we find out,
Wait.
yeah,
A dinosaur cartoon. Are you're
yeah.
pitching the book like that, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I say dinosaur and cartel in the same sentence, people are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, you have my
That's like
attention.
yeah, that's like perfect.
Yeah.
Sold. Sign me up.
But it also deals with grief, which I never thought I would have the situation I'm in right now with my dad. But in this book, the main character of Lucero, or Luz, she actually loses her mom to cancer.
Mm.
And so she doesn't want to deal with the grief. She actually helps a widower who has obviously already lost his wife on his ranch to basically look after the time displaced dinosaurs that live on his ranch that have found a home. And then you've got Sorcor, which they enlist a couple of their agents to go there because there's been time rift anomalies. And they're going, we need to see what's up here because we've heard, like, we've seen this stuff pop up. Maybe there might be dinosaurs there that we need to send back to their own time. So not only do you
Okay.
have Luz and Ernie, the widower, you've got Soracor, but then you find out that Luz's dad, Umberto, works for the dinosaur cartel.
Okay.
So it's like three sides kind of thing. And the way it all
It's
comes
like
together in the end is
it's
epic.
just that's I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be good. I'm super
But
interested
the
to read
grief
it.
part of it all, like again, I'm very curious to see how people take it. I've already had one beta reader. She said her words, she said, "You dealt with it in such a Derek way." And I'm just like, I don't know what that means, but I'm hoping it's good. And she's like, "You did a very good job with it."
That sounds I would
So
say that sounds like a compliment.
yeah. And then another beta reader I had, she said, actually, her first thing she said to me after she read Primeval Ranch, she goes, "How dare you write teenage girls so accurately?" And I went, "Really?" Okay.
Sorry
Again,
for
though,
being accurate.
compliment, though. Yeah. And she's
Yeah.
like, "I loved every part of it." And I had another reader where she actually read all three books. She hadn't read Dino Rift and Sorkor yet when she became my alpha reader. And so she read all three in a row. She goes, "You know what? Dino Rift, Sorkor, great, but this one is my favorite."
Mhm.
So, like, you always try to be as good or better than what you've written before, but to actually hear that from your readers, and again, I haven't published
It's
anything
yeah.
since the end of 2022. So I'm kind of in this weird boat where I'm like, okay, let's just throw it out there, see what happens.
Let's see what hits the wall and sticks, and
Yeah,
then draw a picture with
yeah.
it. Yeah, I like it. How many beta readers do you have?
So actually this time around, I've had a lot of beta readers just going through their own life stuff, and I'm like, hey, totally get it. So I had to go looking for some new betas. I had one that was good to a degree where all she said was, it was really good. That's it. I'm like, okay, I need more than that. So I don't think I'm going to use them again. But then I had another beta reader that was the one that read all three in a row, and she was phenomenal. She gave me notes on things. Like I had one relationship in the Primeval Ranch book where I thought, hey, there could be like a little bit of romantic subplot, like subplot, and she's like, yeah, I didn't care for it, like
That's
blunt.
good.
But I'm like, hey, if you didn't care for it, that means it didn't work. So I'm gonna change it and make it more familial. Like,
Yeah,
hey, we're not related, but I view you like a brother. You know?
yeah, and that's the feedback we need. Is like I need honest feedback.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally. And I just saw, Neil Christensen, right, on TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he just, I saw a post of his today, and he said, you as an author need to be able to take feedback. And
Hmm.
I'm like, it's so true because these beta readers are a different perspective. They're not just yours. Like us authors, we get stuck in our own little brains and think everything's perfect sometimes. For me, I know my book's not perfect until the betas have gone through it, until the editor has gone through it. And like, I am open to any and all feedback.
Well, and as an author, we have so many versions of things that happen in our head that, like, for me, what I've put on paper and sent out, like, some things are missing, and they're like, "I don't understand this," and I'm like, "I didn't put that in there?" Because it's I know in my head
Ah,
when I
yeah,
make
yeah,
the
yeah.
reference, I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, you guys didn't catch that? My bad." Like, thank you for telling me.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'll read it 20 times and I won't realize that I didn't say specifically what needed to be said.
Right.
Yeah. I think
Or
I
like
need
my
to get more
editor.
beta readers.
Yeah, and I find finding the readers that are like super passionate about your
Yes.
books are who I
So
trust.
important. Yeah.
Because if they care about your characters just as much as you do, then they also know how your character should also think and work
Mhm.
to a degree. Like I have one
Yeah.
beta reader. I had her she'd read Dino Rift, loved it, but she also said that, the one teenage character could have used a bit more of something. And I went, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on you. When I get to Sorkor Salvation, do you want to be a beta reader for me? And she goes, yeah, I'd love to. And I said, can you focus on Vivian? She goes, perfect. I will focus on Vivian. And
Where are
she
you
gave
finding your
amazing
beta
notes too.
readers?
Honestly, I found them off TikTok. I started a Facebook group years ago, and I keep an eye on the superfans
Yeah.
and ones that
I have a
have maybe
couple
like a bit of back writing and background.
I have a couple super readers that I'm like, you guys are amazing. Um, but I need more. Like I need a few more because a lot of mine have gone through
Yep.
life stuff. And
Right.
so That happens. I find it's harder to find beta readers as you get further in. Like I'm book 4 in the series now. So I need to have people who are committed to reading the first 3 or who have already read
Right.
the first 3. It's hard.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
know
What
what?
were
I
you going to
tried
say about
beta
your
reading.
editor?
Oh, I was just gonna say, even my editor, like she went through it all, and then she came back with some things like, if you added a bit more to the beginning of some of the chapters, it would really set the scene more, like the
Mm-hmm.
environment and all things like that. Like I had a scene in Primeval Ranch where it's set in Finland. So it's just a one-off. Like what I did in Dino Rift was there's a couple of chapters here and there where it kind of shows you what else is happening in the world other than the
Mm-hmm.
main plot. Because the time rifts essentially are part of the book. Like Dino Rift is the title, so the rifts play a big part. As you read through Dino Rift, you see that rifts are popping up all over the world, essentially. But now, as we've gotten to Sorkor and now Primeval Ranch, there's still more after effects of all that, of what has come into the world and how have they made like a certain home in different parts of the world. So I
That's
actually have it where in Finland at one of their parks, where people are just, they've pitched their tents, they're having fun, middle of the night, someone screams. And as this guy comes out of his tent, he's realizing all of his friends are being taken down by giant millipedes. So if you don't like bugs, here's some
creepy.
prior warning. Yeah. But the thing
Creepy
is,
crawlies.
as you read through Dino Rift, you'll see how I kind of changed. Like I have my view of what dinosaurs could have been, just to kind of change things up from what we've seen in most, you know, pop culture and all that stuff. But the bugs, it's always the bugs you got to look out for more than actually the dinosaurs themselves.
Interesting and creepy. Ugh,
Yeah, yeah.
bugs
In my
gross me
next one, I'm
out.
planning on having the prehistoric spiders.
Sir?
Well, see,
Spiders?
as the series goes on, I tease this one character. His name is the Bug Collector.
Oh.
And so, I mean, there was one called Megarachne, and its leg span was 2 feet.
I would die. I would die on the spot if
So
a
either my
spider that
sales are going
big.
to be really good, or they're just going to tank because everyone's like, nope, giant spiders, I'm out.
Or what's going to happen is no one's going to tell anybody that there's giant spiders in it and then buy them for people
Right.
to read to be grossed out by the
There you go.
spiders.
There you go.
I
Buy
would
this
do
for
that.
your friends, everybody.
Yeah. Buy this for your enemies.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just don't tell anyone. I'll have to have it on like the back synopsis of the book. Prior warning: giant spiders.
Just that right there.
Yeah. Nothing else, no plot, just there are giant spiders in this book.
Yep. That's
Not like
that'd be
egg-legged
impressive.
freaks, but
Just P.S. Giant spiders. And leave it
yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
What the
Which I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I'll probably have to rewatch that for some inspiration.
where do you get your inspiration from?
A lot of different places. Like the superhero stuff was literally me just talking with a friend one night. And we were like, hey, what if there was a superhero that was a spy? Or, I was big into 007 back then. I said,
Mm-hmm.
or what if there was a spy that was just given superpowers in order to take down the bad guys because they can do the same thing? So that kind of started everything. And then after I wrote that original trilogy when I was young, I later in life rewrote everything. I published the first book. I published the second book. As I started to rewrite the third book, I went, okay, there's a line in Ultimate Agent 2 where they said, we put away a lot of bad guys in the last 6 months. And I went, I want to explore that kind of like how Star Wars did with Rogue One, where it was just a movie based on one line, or a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, what was it? A lot of, it said a lot of something died that day.
I
I forget the actual line, but something like that. Star Wars fans, comment,
you'll know.
whatever. Yeah, they'll know.
Yes.
Um, so I was like, hey, I want to do cryptids, but I want to do
Okay.
cryptids in a way that fit into my universe because I don't do like paranormal, demonic stuff, all that kind of thing. I just wanted to go, how can I ground them in my scientific genetic world that I've already created?
Yeah.
So that's applied to Bigfoot. It's applied to Mothman. It's applied to the Loch Ness Monster, which for me, the Loch Ness Monster was a dinosaur that came through a time rift. So I kind of went, oh, how do I take this and make it where, oh, maybe a couple teenagers get trapped in prehistoric times, have to find their way home. Meanwhile, evil corporations pulling dinosaurs into the present for nefarious purposes. And that's how Dino Rift came to be.
That's so cool. Just
I'm always thinking about the
conversations.
spin off, you know?
Yeah. I
It's
like
like, how
that.
can I take this to the next degree?
Yeah. I like that. That's really interesting. I ask everyone where they get their inspiration from because it's so varied. Like I get mine from fake conversations in my brain with a character. Like a
Mm,
single question and then it
that's
spirals
okay
into an
too.
entire book.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, that or the vibe of a song, like a
Mm.
line or a
Yeah,
vibe of a
it's true.
song, and
Yep.
that will catapult an entire book.
Yeah. I was like, actually, for me, I didn't know what the villain or who the villain of Sorcor's Salvation was going to be until a guy walked in our store that worked for a point of sale system, and his name is Blake Aerosmith. And I went, hold on, hold on, hold on. I took his card, I looked at his name, and I went, this is the name of my villain. I didn't tell him. But it's like spelled Aerosmith, like bow and arrow Aerosmith. And I went,
Mm-hmm.
okay. As soon as I saw his last name, I went, this is his villain name. I'm making a bunch of Aerosmith jokes, the band, and it's just going to add to the pop culture stuff, and like multiple generations are going to enjoy this.
Yes.
And to add another layer to that, Cameron makes a whole bunch of Aerosmith jokes, and Vivian the whole time is like, stop it, you're being stupid. But then Vivian saves the best for last, and she says near the end of the book, dream on, Aerosmith. And Cam's like, you've been telling me this whole time I have to stop saying jokes like this, and you saved the best for last.
Sounds like so much fun.
But it is. It's so much fun. I love making the pop culture references and like stuff that people know that are of my generation too, like Firefly, Princess
Mm-hmm.
Bride, Young Frankenstein. Like, yeah, I put those in Dino Rift. I had to. I just had
Yeah.
to.
Like, please. They can look
Doctor
him up
Who.
if they need Doctor Who.
Ooh, of course.
Uh,
Time travel. You got to bring in the Doctor Who. You got to make some Jurassic Park references because there's dinosaurs,
yeah.
right?
Like, it just makes sense. It would be weird if you didn't.
And I mean, what teenager doesn't make pop culture references?
Every single one of them does. I know.
Exactly.
I sat with them for 6 months, no, 5 months. And seriously, they'd say things. I'm like, I have no idea what you are saying to me
Right.
right now.
Right.
Roll that back a
Yeah.
couple decades and I'll get it.
Yeah. But then I also have the people that appreciate that I put Charlie Bit My Finger, the YouTube video, in Dino Rift. A reference
I
to
don't
it.
know.
Not the actual
I don't know what that
video.
is.
You've never seen Charlie Bit My Finger?
No.
You got to look it up after we're done.
Okay. I'm going to write it down. Hold on.
It is like a super
Oh,
viral.
wait. Is it a
It's
little
two
kid?
little British kids.
I was going to say they're British, right? Okay. I think I
Yeah.
have heard that. Yep.
Charlie bit me. Ow. Ow, Charlie. Classic.
uh, that's amazing. Uh,
But it's like a deep cut because for people that do know it and it hasn't really been around for a while, as soon as those of my generation or older see it, they're like, did he really just put Charlie Bit My Finger in a sci-fi book? I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. You're
had to.
welcome,
Yep.
you people. Appreciate it.
You also get to see into
Uh,
my brain and what
I
lives
think
in there
that would be a
rent
dark
free.
and scary place to go.
Yeah, it's full of dinosaurs. It's fine.
Dinosaurs are scary.
Nah, you got to read more Dino Riff. See, I also
Yeah.
grew up reading Dinotopia, which Dinotopia I thought was a fantastic book series because
Hmm.
you've got humans living with dinosaurs in a society, only just stay away from this one forest because that's where all the carnivores are.
Like the Forbidden Forest.
Kinda, yeah, but it was great because humans learned how to speak dinosaur. Dinosaurs learned how to speak English or other languages,
Like,
and it was just such a cool concept. that I thought I also need to have some of that inspiration in Dino Rift to a degree. Not that there's a society or anything, but
Mhm.
just some small elements of that.
That makes sense. I like it.
So
It's
yeah,
probably really fun in your head. It's probably like a party. I don't think it's
it is.
my head is dark. You don't want to be in my head.
There's a lot of pizza in my head too. Pizza. I make my own pizza, as you've probably seen from my Facebook posts.
Yeah, and it looks really good. I
Yeah.
can't eat pizza,
No
but I can have tomatoes.
sadness.
I did until I turned 30, and then that was the end of my pizza days.
Oh,
I have
really?
white
Gluten free
pizza. It's
now?
not the same. No, just tomatoes. Like I became intolerant. They make
Oh.
me sick.
You can make white pizza.
It's not the same.
I know
Okay,
it's
yeah.
not the same, but there's still ways to make it epic. Like basil pesto? Make
Yeah,
that your sauce.
I guess. That
See,
goes
that's
with
the other thing that lives
baking.
in my head
I
is
don't
food. I work with food all day, so it's like you want to talk about any kind of food, I'm there.
like yeah, what do you do? What is your day job?
So, 8 years ago, my dad and I decided to stop construction and sell olive oil and balsamic in a retail setting,
That's so interesting. That's like
along
a
with my mom.
complete
Yeah,
what like
total 180. Yeah, yeah. It's my mom used to work in real estate, and it was just all something new for us. But my parents first went to a store like it years ago and learned more about the supplier, learned about their transparency, and how they really want to separate themselves from the rest of the industry of olive oil, especially because of all the stuff that goes on.
mhm.
And they have actually designated themselves with what's called ultra premium quality. So you can get premium olive oils, but ultra premium is like the next step up, where we know the estates that have crushed, we know when, we know how long it took from picking the olives to crushing them, which recently, Portugal, under half an hour,
Wow.
which is crazy. That is unheard of. Normally, we would say 2 to 4. Now it's under half an hour. We're going, wow, okay. Because as soon as you pick that olive, it starts to oxidize. It's a fruit.
Mhm.
So when you pick it at its antioxidant like peak and crush super fast and add more vacuums to the machinery so it sucks out more oxygen as it's going through, what we get in our store is almost like as fresh as the day it was crushed.
That's
And every time we
that's
open a new
amazing.
jug, yeah, they insert nitrogen into the jug just so it pushes out all the oxygen before it gets sealed. So, and it doesn't harm the olive oil. You just open up the new jug, pour it in a tank. People get to taste it in the store before they take it home. And so
Okay.
we're known as a tasting bar. And but that helps people so they don't take something home and then go, it's not what I expected.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
That sounds really good.
It is.
I'm
It's
actually
actually
jealous
I
that I
find
can't
it's
come
one
and
of the most
taste it.
rewarding jobs, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people, there's people that come in and they want to have a healthier diet. Or maybe someone's diabetic and they don't realize that good quality balsamic is actually good for diabetics.
Really? I did
It
not know that.
actually creates less of a spike and it makes you more insulin sensitive than resistant.
Really?
There is
That's
science on that.
so much science.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much that
It's
we don't
crazy.
know as a society, I think, that
Especially
we should know.
Western, we don't know how to eat.
We don't know anything. We know
Or we eat too
chemicals
fast.
are we eat so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like enjoy your meal. There's nuance to how flavors combine. And I've honestly learned so much in the last 8 years. And then going to Italy this past year, there was meals where I actually, without even thinking about it, slowed down because I'm going, I need to savor every single bite because I don't know when I'm going to get a meal like this ever again.
Yeah, makes me that's how it is. Okay, it's like slow.
Okay.
Everything here is slow. You enjoy the food.
Right.
You
There's more
it's
appreciation.
mhm.
Yeah.
And they do a lot more like all natural ingredients and everything
I
has
love that.
like sweet potatoes in it and red potato or purple potatoes and
I love sweet potato.
yeah. They have a
So
potato over
good.
here called ube. It's purple potato and it's like
Oh, right, right.
so good for you. It's one of my favorite and they turn it into everything. Ice cream, um, like pastries, like
Okay.
everything. It's so good.
Love it. Love it. I think
Yeah.
I
And that's
saw, because there's the Netflix show
mhm.
that's all about blue zone diets.
Yeah.
And I think they talked about that.
Yeah, it's that and the the goza. Goi- I don't know. It's like this. Looks like a cucumber, but it's got like spikes on it, and it's super tart or
Okay.
sour. And or no, it's bitter, not sour. It's bitter, but it's really good for you, like your inflammation and your entire system.
That makes sense though, because people have to get used to the bitterness of our olive oils. Like it's a fruit, you know, as soon as you crush it, bitterness is going to come not just from the flesh, but also the pit.
Hmm.
And then once you taste that as the oil, it is going to have that bitterness to it. And sometimes it makes people cough, or the
Yeah,
antioxidants are so high that it makes people cough. If you didn't know and you first tried it, you would go, this is a negative response. I don't like this. But you have to change your mind into realizing, wait, bitter foods are actually really good for us.
we've killed our palate with sugary, sweet things. Like I've stopped adding. I eat my salads without any dressing usually, um, because I've like you load them with some. I'm like I'm gonna eat everything plain how it should be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
That way, like I've reset my palate,
Yeah.
and now I
But
can't
see,
eat sugar.
if you use really good olive oil, that actually helps your body absorb more of the nutrients of your salad.
See, I didn't know that.
It's the healthy fats. People think fat
We
is
need to get
fat, but
no.
olive
There's
oil is a monounsaturated fat. It's a single, whereas
mhm.
something like vegetable oil is a monounsat or a polyunsaturated fat, which means many. Which vegetable oil has already been cooked. It's been heated with chemical to break it down, and then you're heating that again to cook with, and it's turning toxic. And there's like a whole scientific deep dive on this. It actually changes your cells to not be able to take the good fats that we eat and turn that into energy properly. It actually changes you on a cellular level.
What is that? Heating up
Any
what?
seed, any seed oil or vegetable oil, except for flax and coconut oil, still good, and olive oil, will actually change you on a essentially molecular level.
Really?
That you can no longer take the proper fats that we're supposed to use for energy. We're supposed to take fat, turn it into energy. It stops your cells from being able to do that.
So obviously olive oil is like super important. How do you know if you have good olive oil then?
So you want to, first of all, don't put it in your fridge. It should never be in the fridge. Just your pantry. You want to be able to, first of all, warm it up a little bit. Maybe put it in like a little cup or something. Warm it up, and then as you sip it, you want to actually aerate it a little bit. So you're kind of emulsifying it on your palate. And if you pull out, say, grassy notes or sometimes fruity notes, like we have one in our store that tastes a little bit like Granny Smith apple, although it's
Okay.
not infused with any, that's just the notes you're getting. Like you're getting notes from wine in a way. And yeah, you want to also, if you do end up getting the peppery sensation in the back of your throat, that means the antioxidants are really good and they're still there doing their job. If you're not getting that, it's either a really, really mild olive oil or it's been stripped of all its nutritional value. And the
Now I gotta go
marketing,
find
like
good.
if you find a light olive oil, anything called
Uh-huh.
light, Italians will use it for their lamps
Okay.
because
So
there's
stay away
nothing
from
to it.
light.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a marketing ploy.
I hate humans.
Just like diet soda, diet
Diet soda
pop,
is
diet
so
soda.
bad for you.
Oh my
It
goodness.
is so bad for you.
It gave my aunt similar symptoms of MS because she drank
Yeah,
so much of it.
I believe that. That's what my sister too. When she learned that, she stopped drinking it, but she had already had like so much damage from it.
Yeah, yeah. One day I might put this olive oil stuff in a book. I don't know. We'll see whether it's
You
fiction or
should.
nonfiction. But
You should. You should make a Patreon about the olive
mm,
oil.
mm.
And that can supplement, like, because then you can go on and people can get like special tastings and like explaining all of this that nobody knows. Or a YouTube channel just talking about your olive oil.
I actually technically do have a YouTube channel for the
You
Olive Oil
do?
Co. where I work. So if you type in the Olive Oil Co. kitchen, there's
Yes.
over 100 videos. You will see me in my early years where I am very cringy and I'm just
So cute.
learning how to be a YouTuber. um, Up to yeah, we've got over 100 videos on there now. I haven't
That's
done much
fantastic.
this past year just because this year has been absolutely
Hmm.
crazy. But
You
and
have all this
2023
already.
again, creative burnout. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I think we did 4. I did upload some stuff from our Italy trip this year, so at
Hmm.
least there was a little bit more content here and there. But
That's exciting.
yeah, it's fun. I learned editing. I did all the videos with my phone.
How was that?
But you know what? I got used to a app called UCut
Hmm.
for, I don't know if it's on Android and Apple, but it took a little bit of learning early on, but then I really got the hang of it, and it was just like do a video up in half an hour.
That's great.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
found a little passion there at one point. Hopefully get it back.
You'll get it back. I know.
Well, I have customers come in and they're like, "You stopped doing videos." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm
You
hoping to
have
get back to it.
fans. You
I
have
do
fans. You have to
somehow.
serve them.
Somehow.
Those YouTube videos, the cringy
Yeah.
ones.
Now I have to see if I can maybe, if everything that's supposed to happen to TikTok happens, I'll have to
Oh, I
make
don't
an author
want.
tube. Who
That's why
knows? We'll
actually
see.
that's why I'm doing this podcast is so that I can get
Ah,
content
okay.
for my thing. Well, it's twofold. It's one because I hated going on interviews where we talked a lot about the books because like my for certain people the books will sell themselves, but I buy so many books based off of the people. I'm like, I like them. I want to see what they wrote instead of like very rarely do I buy a book based on like the blurb these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. I'm to the
So I wanted
point
a
now where
place.
actually, if I make really good friends with an author, I'll be like, "Hey, do you want to do a book swap?"
Yeah.
And that's so much fun because now I've done swaps with one author, Hazel Vale, who is also Canadian. She actually doesn't live that far from me, and we have swapped Dino Rift and Soracor for her Star Stitch Chronicles, which is the first book is Lost Between the Stars.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but there's 2 books in the series so far, and the first book is where this girl is a she makes dresses, like she's a seamstress, and she is on a spaceship, and it's
Yes.
very kind of has a Firefly vibe to it,
Okay.
and then you find out that she's actually a stowaway, but for
Okay.
reasons that you find out later on in the book. But the cool thing that she came up with in her world is that everyone has what's called an IDEX, which is essentially part of your genetic code. So say you walk into a room, everyone knows where you are, or it's always recorded, I should say. And then we find out that this main character doesn't have one, which is why she was able to stow away on the ship. But we don't know the full extent of that until later on. And I thought it was such a
That's
cool aspect.
that is a really cool aspect.
Yeah. I
I
love
love
author springs.
yeah, I was just about to say that. I love authors and like the way we come up with things and like the twists we put on stuff.
Yeah.
It's
And in the second book, like both my wife and I have read both of them and we're talking about it. It's like my wife read the second book first and then I read it and I would get to a part and be like, "What?" She's like, "I know."
oh, that's
She's
the
like, "I was the
best.
same way."
What was that called? Or who's the author?
I can go run and grab it really quick. My
Yeah.
library is just okay. So the first book is Hidden in the Stars. Beautiful
Okay.
cover.
That's so gorgeous.
And then the second book is Lost Between the Stars, which again, another gorgeous cover.
Oh, I love that cover.
Yeah. So you get, like I said, that Firefly kind of vibe, but also like their style.
There,
She's
yeah.
very descriptive with her dresses too. Like you can tell she loves fashion.
Nice. I like and I
Yeah.
love that when I find authors, I'm like, I know what you're into. Like I can
Yeah, yeah.
tell what you're into because it's
I
like
want to say there's like a bit of a Jane Austen vibe to it too,
okay.
to a degree, where just the way like certain relationships happen throughout the series.
Mm,
But yeah,
that's so
it's
good.
fun. I didn't actually know if I would enjoy it or not, but I really got into it. And now I keep
Yeah.
asking Hazel, and I'm like, Hazel, when's the next book? Because we need it. My wife and I both need it.
Uh, that's the best and worst question to ask an author.
No, I know, I know.
Yeah.
But you know what was so sweet was she actually signed it to me and Alicia, my wife, Alicia.
Oh, I
Or
love
she's
that.
like, the Derek Borne. I'm like, the Derek Borne. Who's that guy?
That's you. Super important, big deal.
Some guy.
So before we wrap up, I like to ask this question, and if you don't have an answer, it's okay. But what book, TV, or movie character is most like you?
Did you ever see the show Chuck with Zachary Levi?
No. Mm.
My favorite show of all time. It's where this normal, regular guy that works at a Buy More, which is their version of a Best Buy,
Okay.
uh, opens up his computer one day and he's been sent a file from an old college friend who he doesn't know is a spy. And it's this whole file that when he opens it, it downloads into his brain and it's full of pictures that have messages hidden in the pictures. And you come to find out that it is the CIA and the FBI, or CIA and NSA combined to have all their files in this so that they could communicate, is now in his brain. And he's the only computer of his brain that has all this information. So he could look at, a politician, and his brain would pull up all this information of who this is and what they're into and what they're doing that's
That
maybe evil.
sounds phenomenal. I have not heard, what is this on?
It was only 5 seasons. It's
okay.
already done. I think you can find it on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I'm going to go look. This sounds like right up my alley.
And you know what? It's like 80s references. It is family friendly. It's sexy. Like you've got the hot CIA agent that he kind of really pines for. But Chuck, I related to Chuck so much. Like when I was young, I had been bullied a lot, and I found so much relatable solace with the character of Chuck.
Okay, that sounds
It's kind of like
really good.
your everyday guy, your everyday
Mhm.
nerd, if you will.
Even better.
Yeah, and it's just like now that I've rewatched it multiple times, and as I get older, I'm relating to different characters and what they go throughout the series. Like I didn't think I would actually relate all that much to the CIA agent who is like the sexy CIA, but as she has her character arc through the show, this last time we watched it, I bawled my eyes at multiple points because I'm like, oh god, this is hitting home right now.
Yeah, I love shows like that you can jump from character to character depending on where you are in your life. Cool.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
now on
sure
my
as I get
list.
older, I will be the NSA agent who's just grunting all the time and just doesn't want to take anyone's crap.
I have a character like that in my book, Mason. He's like he's a guardian in charge of like all these like young assassins, and I picture him half the time just like this. I'm like, yeah, that's me right now.
Right, yeah.
Can you guys just like stop doing what you're doing and do what you're supposed to do? Like that's the season of life I'm in right now. So
Right.
works
So
well.
here's the cool thing too is you've obviously seen Firefly.
I've seen part. Yeah, I don't remember as well because I was really big into Buffy and Dollhouse. So like I
Okay,
watched
yeah.
Firefly, but it didn't stick as well as like
Okay.
Buffy and Dollhouse did.
So do you remember the character Jane from Firefly? He's got like the hat with the tassels and he's always got like the big gun and stuff. He's kind of smart in some ways but dumb in others. He plays the NSA agent of Casey in Chuck.
Okay.
And his character, honestly, you find yourself laughing at him a lot because he's so dry and he just doesn't want to like deal with stuff sometimes, but he still likes to get the job done. And I actually, in Primeval Ranch, I wrote a character very much like that because
Okay.
I'd never done one like that before. I'm
That
like, I
sounds
need
really
to try
good.
new things.
I love that your new things are like super sweet and family friendly, and my new things are
Nah.
like, um, we're gonna have this assassin like torture this guy in a new way today. That's
Right.
uh, balance.
Yeah.
We need balance in our
Yes, always
friendships.
balance.
I need
Always
people who are
balance. But then, hey,
family
you know what?
friendly.
I've got chapters in my books where there's people getting attacked by giant millipedes, so
Why?
I had to. I had to. The book required it.
You know what? You got to do what your characters need you to do. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And
so
don't worry,
where
those
can
millipedes are
all?
in Dino Rift too.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start messaging
Only one.
you and be like, gross. I'll just send gifs. I'm gonna
Bring
send
it.
gifs of bugs.
Bring it.
That's what's gonna happen.
Bring
Uh,
it.
Where can our awesome listeners find you besides here on the podcast?
You can find me on the Zon. My superhero spy series, The Ultimate Agent, is all on Amazon. Not on KU, unfortunately, but Dino Rift and Soracore, and soon to be Primeval Ranch is the third book in that series, are all wide.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
So I
going
chose
wide
wide for
next year.
that just to see how things go.
Yeah. I'm doing wide. I think that's my goal in 2025 is to pull from Amazon for a bunch of reasons.
Mm. Are you going to try D2D?
I don't know what I'm going to try yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they'll be up. I think they might be available on there just because that's easy, but I'm in KU right now and I'm exclusive with
Okay.
ACX.
Yep.
So I want to pull all exclusivity and really get people to my website.
Yeah, I got to look into ACX and see how you actually pull out of that.
I think we can just write an email and say, like, I no longer want to be exclusive. I don't have royalty shares, so I can do that because I paid outright
Okay.
and
I
I own the
do.
rights to my book. So
Oh,
you
okay.
may not be able to do that. I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah, my narrator was awesome. She was like, you know what? I understand you can't afford like a really big payout because I'm indie, but
Mm,
yeah, she was really good about it. And even the sequel, she's like, yeah, I'm okay to do royalty share again.
that's
So
really cool.
yeah, she's got a lot of stuff actually in her wheelhouse too that she's been doing. She does like cartoons now. She does video game like voice work.
My narrator does video game voice work. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Michael Neeb. He's phenomenal. Book 3, we just finished it. We have to do some pre-records on it. But like we're slowly.
Is
I'm
he on
not
TikTok too?
rushing them. He doesn't. He is, but he doesn't post a lot.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I found him through ACX. He's got a Facebook. I'll tag him in all your stuff so you can see him. Uh, he's super good. I like him. But I'm his 50th book.
Wow.
That was
Nice. Good
fantastic.
job. Love it.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. This has been phenomenal. Definitely will be doing it again. And you guys have a wonderful day.